Hello class. Today I thought I would share some quick tips on how to download and set up Zotero to your computer. These steps can be used for both Mac or PC. They're just slightly different. So today I'm using a Mac. First, there are two versions of Zotero. There is a standalone version and there's the one that works with Firefox. I prefer the one that works with Firefox because I feel like it's easier and quicker to import your sources into it. So that's what I will be showing you today. So the first thing you need to do is to download Firefox to your computer. So the way you do that is you go to Google, you just put Firefox, and then you just click on download and you follow the prompts. So after you have downloaded Firefox to your computer, you open Firefox and you type Zotero in your search engine, and you go to the Zotero main site. Here, you click on Download Now, and then you click on Install Zotero for Firefox. Okay, so I'm not gonna click on this because I already have Zotero, but again, you follow all the prompts and it will tell you to restart Firefox. And when it does, you will see this Z and you will see these icons in your Firefox browser. Okay, so when you click on the Z, what you will see is it will open up, and for you, these are my sources, but for you, it will be empty here. So in your case, if you're new to Zotero, as I said, everything here will be empty, but you will have this library folder. Here, if you click on this, you can see that you can create a new folder. I suggest that you use this option to create a new folder for each assignment that you have. And you can see here I've done the same for myself. Depending on different things that I'm working on, I create a new folder. Sometimes you can put number 1 to have it be at the top. And then you can import sources to your folder. You can play around with these. You can also attach things to your sources, but I will just start by showing you how you can import articles and books to your different folders. So let's say I create a new folder and I put here number 1 test. And you can see here now this folder is empty. So let's say I want to import a source to my folder. I'm going to go to Amazon. Let's say I want to import a book called Lean In. Okay, so let's say I've used this book from the library in my research and I want to add it to my list of sources. You will see here that the icon turned from what looked like a paper to what looks like a book. And if I click on this book icon, you will see that the source has been imported to my folder because that's the folder that I had highlighted. And you can see all the information is here. Now, even if you import this information, you should still check that everything here is accurate because sometimes it can be inaccurate. The other issue that I notice is that, let's say in APA formatting, the title is not all words in the title are capitalized. But if you see here that in your original entry all the words are capitalized, then this is how it's going to generate your reference list in APA format. So you want to make sure that if you're going to do APA citations, you want to make sure that you do not capitalize all the words and you capitalize only the words that are going to be capitalized in the reference list. Okay, so I showed you how to import a book, but I'm also going to show you how to import journal articles. Okay, so again, there are several ways to do that. So you can see now I did a search in a library database, university library database, regarding journal articles on study skills. These are the list of my results. Now, if I wanted to, you can see here there's a folder, and then if I hover over it, it says Save to Zotero. I could click on it, and it will import all the articles that I want. I can click, or I can select all, and I can say OK, and it will import all the articles on this page into this folder. So you can see now that all these articles are imported. But I mean, most of the time you shouldn't import, all the articles at once. You should, look at them one by one, read the abstracts, and see if they apply to your research. So here, let's say, you should quickly read the abstract, look at the keywords, and see if they apply to your research. Now, if you decide that you want to keep this article, you can see here now the icon has changed to white. If you click on it, you can see that it has imported it. And what's good about it is that it will also save the full text of the article if it's available, but it will only save it to your computer. You can see if I click on this, the full text is here. Now, if you have not created an account with Zotero, if you go and let's say try to use Zotero in another computer, you will not find this article. If you're going to use only one computer, I guess you don't really need to create an account. However, let's say you have a work computer and then you also have a home computer, and you want to be able to have access to all your sources at the same time and have them sync so that whatever sources you have in one computer are the same in the other computer, or let's say you use multiple computers. Then what I suggest you do is that you create an account. If you create an account, what basically happens is that Zotero syncs your sources and whatever attachments you may have included across your various devices. So what you would do is you would go back to the Zotero website and you would go here to register. And here you would follow the directions and register your account. And then when you're done registering, you will come here where it says sync with Zotero server. Actually, before doing that, you should go to settings and you go to preferences. And in your preferences, you put your username and password that you just created in the website. So once you input that information, and then you can click on automatically sync and sync full text content. Okay. So whenever you update your sources, you will see this moving. It means it's syncing to a cloud, basically. So another good thing about doing this is, let's say you're writing your paper, you're using your sources, worst case scenario, this happens to everyone. Let's say your computer crashes and you're almost done with the paper. What are you going to do? The good thing about this is all your sources will be in the cloud. So if you come back and you log into your account, which I'll do right now, you will see that all the sources will be there. So I have logged in. You can see here it says welcome Anna Greek 13, and here if I go to my library, you will see that whatever I have on this computer is also in this library. So even if this computer were to get a virus or crash, I would still have all my sources in the cloud. So I can just click on the links that are saved, or the names of the articles that are saved, or the links that I've saved, and it will all also be there. Okay, so it's a good way to keep everything organized and safe. Now, why are we taking our time and going through all this? Well, you take your time to import your sources because then you're going to be able to easily import them into your Word document. So in the next stage of this video, I will show you how to import them into your paper. Okay, so before you can use Zotero to automatically cite sources, what you need to do is go back to the Zotero homepage. Again, go back to download now. And then what you're going to do is click on add a plugin for Word. Now here, you will scroll down. If you have Windows, you will click on this. And if you have Mac, you will click on this. And again, it will tell you to restart Firefox. If you have Word open, you should close Word. Make sure you have completely exited the application. So here right now, for example, I have Word open. I will click and I'll say quit. And then just follow the prompts, download these plugins, and it will also restart Firefox. And then when you're done, you go back and you open your Word. So in your Word, you should go to add-ins, and you will see these little add-ins that are related to Zotero. In some computers, it looks different. In some computers, you have to go to the top, but somewhere you should be able to see it. So now I will show you how Zotero makes it easy to use citations accurately. So let's say I'm summarizing something. I'm just going to type whatever. So let's say this is my summary, and now I want to cite my source. Okay, so I'm going to go back. Let's say I want to cite that book that I just imported. Okay, so I will go to add-ins and I will go to the first one, insert citation. And here you can see it's asking me what format I would like to use. Okay, so there's IEEE for engineering. So if that applies to you, you can choose that. There is MLA, Modern Language Association, and there's other ones. And there's American Psychological Association. So for me, I'm going to choose APA and I'm going to say OK. So this will ask you only once. And then here you can type either the first few words of the title. So if I type lean in, you will see the book comes up. Or I could type in the name of the author, which is Sandberg. So see, if I type in the first few words, the first few letters, it comes up. So then all I have to do is choose the source and then press enter. And you can see my citation has been inserted. Okay, now if you were quoting, so let's say if this was a quote, okay, you would have to put the page number, so it will not do that for you. You will have to know the rule of putting the page number. So let's say now you're finished and you just want to insert a list of references. You go here to something that looks like a bibliography here, and here it has inserted the work. Now you can see here this is actually not correct because all the words in the title are capitalized. So this is incorrect. So that's why I encourage you guys to always check that the original source is correct. Now the reason it did that is because if I go in my original, so if I go to my library and I put lean in, I've used this several times as an example. You can see that in the original it's not correct because it's all capitalized. So I would have to fix it in the original in order for it to be correct in the output. That's why I encourage you to always check that everything is accurate here in the title so that the final output in Word is accurate. Okay, so I went back in my original entry in Zotero and I fixed the capitalization based on APA formatting, which means only lean, the word lean has to be capitalized and the word women after the colon. I'm gonna go to edit entry and I'm gonna update to so see, now it's fixed. So now this is correct APA formatting. Your information here is going to be as accurate as your information in the original source. So always check the accuracy of the information in Zotero and make sure that everything here is correct. And sometimes when you import from a library website, sometimes the information might be missing or incorrect. So of course the next step would be for you to again follow APA formatting and add the headings as necessary, and this would have to be centered, etc. Anyway, so you can continue to explore this tool, and there are many other YouTube videos if you have questions. If you make a mistake and choose the incorrect formatting, here you can go back and switch it. So right now, for example, if I switch to IEEE, see, now the formatting changed. I have a 1 here and I have a different format here. So this is really good for if you have to submit journal articles to different journals. Maybe one journal wants AP, another might want MLA. Sometimes that happens. They want different citation formats. This is a good tool to use because you don't have to manually do anything. You can just go and change the style, and everything will automatically change. So in that way, it saves you a lot of time. Now, there's many other, I showed you the basics of how to input a book and how to input journal article, but there's many other ways, other things you can input. For example, there is no automatic way to input book chapter. So let's say sometimes you have books where you have different authors, and you might have to cite each author separately because they each wrote a different chapter. So let's say if you want to do that, what you would do is you would right click on the entry and you would say duplicate the item. And then here, see, now I have two of the same entry. You choose one and you come here and you put, instead of item type, instead of book, you choose book section. And if you do that, see, it's asking you that you need to put additional information. So you say okay, and here you will put the title of the chapter. And then here you would put the author's name. Sometimes you have an editor of a book. So you can put here, you can change that maybe one person was the editor, and then you can add the author's last name. Okay, so basically, I mean, there's so many different variations of this, and you can try different things. Another thing you can do is you can cite a website. So let's say this is a site, let's say I go to Wikipedia, even though you're not advised to use Wikipedia for research papers. But just as an example, let's say I want to cite this page. What I would do, see, is click on this. And if I click on this, it saved it as a main page. And you can see here, you would have to put the title if there is an author. So sometimes if you save a website, you have to put this information manually as much as you can. The date, if there is a date. Sometimes if you have a document that is not online, so you can't import it and you want to manually input it into Zotero, what you do is you go to here, add a new thing, and then you go to more, and here you have a list of all the things you can cite. You can pretty much cite anything. Blog post, journal article, podcast, presentation, thesis, TV broadcast, video recording. So newspaper article. So if the easiest way to import things is to, online by clicking here. But if you can't do that, if you have something in hard copy and you want to input it, so you can use these tools to manually input items. Email. So let's say I choose email, and then here it will ask me the subject, the author, the date, the title. If there is a URL, you can put that. So these are just beginning tools. You can also attach documents, links. So I hope this information has been enough for you to get started with Zotero, and let me know if you have any questions.